Go ahead.
Hi, Henry. What's the challenge on this team of balancing offense and defense? The defense doing great, the offense not, and see more defensive players out there. What do you need to get those both going?
Yeah, I think it's the name of the game. You know, you don't want to be just good in one area. I think Austin made it difficult. You know, as soon as they scored, they really packed it in. I don't think they really had chances after that. Certainly not in the second half, not when we came back after the weather delay. So, you know, they made it difficult by putting a lot of numbers in their defensive third, and you know, we've been working on it this week. So hopefully, this weekend we'll be able to break down a lower block. I think Kansas City will play a little differently, but you know, with a new coach, who knows how they'll line up.
Obviously, as a defensive player, you always want to have the clean sheet, but when you have a team whose offense is having trouble, does that up the pressure even more on you guys in the back?
I don't think so. I think it's just you know, play well as a team. That's the goal. Play as a collective unit. Those guys do a lot of work defensively too, so it's not just like offensive players aren't showing up. That's not the case. So I think they're doing well, and we'll put it together soon.
A lot of coaches throughout soccer like to find a back line and stick with it. And you've had a fair amount of fluctuation back there on that group. How has it been with different center backs almost every game?
Yeah, I think everyone has done well who's been back there, whether it's Giannis, Kyle, Josh, Timo, Joachim, might be leaving out someone. But you know, everyone who's stepped in there has done a good job. So I feel like it's a position that we're pretty deep in. So we have a lot of options there.
Justin, go ahead.
And you mentioned looking back at the tape this week, looking back at like the last 15 minutes against Austin, was there kind of an emphasis on things that you did well in those moments? Obviously, you didn't get the goal, but in terms of knocking on the door and pressure.
Yeah, I think we put a lot of pressure on them. You know, obviously, I think they were just comfortable holding on for a 1-0 win. But, you know, we created some good chances, half chances. I think Celio came on, made a big difference. We got a lot of numbers in the box, put some good crosses in. We're in a lot of dangerous areas. So we had them pinned back pretty good those last 15 minutes.
Yeah, and sometimes in a derby, like form just gets thrown out the window. Obviously, when they have a new manager coming in, you all want to put a win on the table. But is there maybe an extra layer of that, like knowing that you want to go in there and score and come away with the win and just boost that'll get you?
Yeah, the energy is going to be huge. As you said, it's a derby fixture. So we know they'll be up for it. We'll be up for it. You know, oftentimes when teams have a new coach, they get a boost of energy as well. So, as you said, sometimes form goes to the side, even maybe tactics a little bit to the side, and you know, other stuff takes over. So we're looking forward to it.
We'll go virtually to John Lupo.
Henry, just talk about the fact that, like you said, they have a new coach, so they'll probably get a little bit of a boost out of that. But playing in front of your fans, just talk about how that might counteract that, and how in a derby match that's going to be intense as this one is, just how that might give you a little bit of an extra edge.
Yeah, the energy on our side will be very high as well. You know, it always is. I thought it was against Austin, especially in those first 20 and last 20. But you know, everyone's looking forward to this game. It's one that we have circled on our calendar, so we're all really excited to play this match.
Tom, if you have any.
Have you developed any kind of animosity towards your opponent this week?
You know, I've had the one game against them in the fall last year, which went well. Personal animosity, not yet, maybe is the right answer. But I guess we'll see Saturday.
What do you call them? Who's your opponent on Saturday?
Kansas City.
Okay.
What do you call them?
I call them Kansas City, but you will find many players on this team that refer to them as Kansas.
Okay.
As though City is.
They don't like them.
And
Okay.
So-
Good to know.
Jen, go ahead. We go to Jen.
I wanted to ask you, I talked a little bit this week with Conrad Wallman, who was excited about a derby match, a rivalry match, and seemed a little surprised that so many City fans would come for 4 hours, a long way to go. to be in there. Do you, when you're away and you know there's gonna be a contingent of fans that'll come particularly for this game, do you look for that city bread when you're not, besides focusing on the game, do you notice that?
100%. I think after the match as well, that's when you see like where our supporters section is. But we've had good turnouts in San Diego and LA, and so it doesn't surprise me at all that it sounds like a lot of people will be there in Kansas City. So I'm looking forward to seeing them there.
How is it the transition of moving the ball from the defensive line to the midfield when you don't have Edward Leuven there, when you have different midfielders, which looks to be the case again this week?
Yeah, I thought we did that well against Austin. It depends on the pressure, but we got into their final third a lot. So moving the ball from the back to the front was not an issue against Austin. Obviously, we miss Adu tremendously. He's a great player. You've seen his quality this year, that free kick against Seattle. So that's not to say, we don't miss him. We wish he was here. But I thought that was something we did well against Austin. Actually, Alfie started in there and did a good job.
All right. Yes, thank you. We appreciate it.
Thank you much.
All right, we'll go straight into it. Go ahead, Tom.
A question I didn't get to ask on Sunday. You only had 8 subs on the bench. How come for the Austin game?
We have some injuries, and we had Edu suspended as well. So the squad is not that big, and also the CD2 had a game where a few of the guys who could possibly have been on the bench were playing. So and they were not involved in training during the week either. So to just throw them in for the game, we feel it's better doing what we do this week when we have more players involved for the whole week, and then hopefully they can be involved on Saturday as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it seemed like Glover or Joyner were probably in the building at that time. So
Yeah.
How tough has it been to get the balance between the offense and the defense? The defense is obviously doing well, the offense isn't, and there's a lot. I guess defense has been a focus, it seems, and there's been like an extra player. Do you need to get more offensive players on the field?
Yeah, sometimes we do. It's like you said, it's a balance. Make those decisions for every game. Also trying to get what we think at the moment are the best players on the pitch, and if those players are 5 strikers, we might find a way to put them all on the pitch at the same time. I'm a believer of really good players. They can play various positions. It doesn't matter if they're center backs or strikers. Yeah, it's always a balance for this game against Austin. We decided for those 11 players, and looking back at the game, it gave us a lot of entries in the final third. We were really good. Probably our best game in build up. And we lacked quality there in the final third, and sometimes personnel as well. Yeah, it's a little bit different when you play with 2 strikers compared with 1. If you play with 1 striker, you have different kinds of runs in the box, and sometimes it's about waiting another second for to get 2 or 3 more players in the box. So those are the kind of things we work on before the games, depending on the formation and the players we put on the pitch.
I mean, when you look at the offensive problems this team has had with only 4 goals in 6 games, would it be helped by having more offensive players?
I think we played with 2 strikers on many occasions, and we varied that in preseason as well. We haven't scored enough goals so far this season, and we struggle a little bit in preseason as well. So I wouldn't say that a lot of focus has been put into defending. We put a lot of focus into attacking throughout preseason, and also now I think it has been little bit the qualities in the squad has made us defend really well, and sometimes the qualities in the squad also gives you the formation. You know, it's about taking the most out of the quality you have in the squad, and then trying to put the right formation and building relationships within that. So and also the challenges we've had, you know, it's not something that we're surprised of from one week to another. It's tendencies we've seen throughout preseason as well, you know, which something that we work hard on to improve in training.
Justin, go ahead.
I just wanted to mention City 2 players, maybe Perez being in training this week. Obviously, you weren't here when before he went out on loan, but coming back on loan this year with City 2, it seems like he has a little more confidence on the ball and more confidence on the plays. Can you explain a little bit of what you've seen from him? I know you've seen
Who did you say again? I didn't hear.
City Perez.
Yeah.
And what you've seen from him in training with person this week.
Yeah, I think it's done well. They've all done well. They've been involved with you know, they have been in training with us before for quite a long period in preseason, so we know them quite well. You know, I thought they did really well in preseason, especially in the beginning. I think that's something you get a lot of the times, you know, from the young players at the start of preseason. Other players might come back a little bit heavier and takes a few weeks to get back into fitness, whilst the younger players are ready from the start, you know. So I thought, you know, and then you might get a little bit of a dip after that when the other players are, you know, getting their fitness and their quality back. But overall, I think all of them did really well in preseason.
And then is that where some of the potential like growth comes in? Is okay now that they've tasted that first team training, now they're back up, you know, with that team again. Do you kind of see that growth from what you saw them in preseason?
Yeah, I mean, I think it definitely helps that they've been training with us before. They know our training methods, and they know, you know, they recognize the way the way we are playing. So you know, they don't really need that much time to adapt. But obviously, if you know, I think being involved all the time in our trainings is you know, more beneficial to these players. It's higher tempo, higher intensity, and you know, yeah, a week like this will hopefully help them.
We'll go virtual to John Lupo.
Olaf, you guys scored 3 of the 4 goals in the one match against the Galaxy, and as Tom said, it's been documented how you've struggled for goals. Do you think that there's anything you can take from that match that you can maybe apply to this match against Kansas City? Different opponent, obviously. Is it just like you said, the lack of quality or finishing in the final third? I mean, it just seems like this team has been so good defensively that if the offense can just catch up to the defense, I mean, I think we know where this team can go.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, there are obviously positives to take from the Galaxy game, but a lot of positives also to take from the Austin game. It's our best game from you know, entries in the final third point of view. We had a lot of crosses, a lot of set pieces, a lot of corners. You know, we're usually a strong side on set pieces, so disappointed not to score there. It often happens when you know, do dominate the game for longer periods of time, like we did against Austin. A lot of entries in the final third, I think, was our best stats also in touches in the opponent's box. So you know, and that kind of you know, when you have that kind of game, it often pays off in the sort of the last 20-25 minutes. I think we could see that as well. We put them under a lot of pressure, and I think people might say, why can't we play like we did the last 15-20 minutes, you know? But I think it's a result also of the way we played the first 70 minutes. And also you get a lot of set pieces, you get corners. You can score from, you know, like we you know, suffer that defeat against Philadelphia, where they put us under a lot of pressure in those first 20-25, which resulted in a lot of set pieces, you know, corners, throw-ins, and they scored on one. So you know, there are ups and downs in a game, you know, and from game to game, and definitely you can take positives from the Galaxy game, but we had some problems in that game as well. We conceded quite a lot of chances. We were in trouble for periods of time as well. So we're obviously always breaking down all the games in detail. You know, against Seattle we scored 1 goal on a set piece and you know, defended really well, and everybody's happy. Against Austin, you know, I think we deserved more. We probably had a better game in many aspects, you know, and you know, that's how we analyze the games in detail.
We go virtually again to Matt Rockhill.
Coach Mellberg, in this past game against Austin, I know you talked about those final third entries. One thing that did jump out is that about one of the numbers I saw, and your internal numbers might be different. I apologize if they are. I saw 60% of those final third entries came from passes from the flank into the center. Is there an emphasis maybe on getting more of those final third entries from the central part of the pitch?
Yeah, sometimes, you know, it depends a little bit what the game brings you, and we're playing against opponents as well, so we cannot always decide where the space are. We found a lot of space against Austin in various areas. I thought we found them centrally as well, but obviously when you get into that final third, they try to you know, to close that space down, so it gives you options out in wide areas, and that's something we knew also we were working on. You know, these the diagonal passes and the runs down the line, not only the wide crosses can become predictable. So you know, we were working a lot with that during training week, because we had a very clear idea what the game might look like, and you know, it looked like that as well, but unfortunately we didn't get that quality in the final third. But it depends on the quality we have in the team, and also a little bit on the opponents. We don't want to become predictable, and you know, you definitely have that option to have the central attacks as well when we can.
We wrap things up with Tom Timmerman.
Some players not at practice this week. What's Chris Durkin's situation?
Yeah, that's MCL, unfortunately. So he will be out for some time.
Is MCL strain, tear? Or?
No, I think it's a strain, maybe a small tear. It doesn't look too bad, but yeah, it will definitely be out for some time.
Is that where does Miguel Perez fit in with him being out, or as you look at?
Well, he hasn't been involved in training. He's only trained a couple of times, so that's. I don't think we're considering that at the moment from start. So you know, we have some other options we're looking at.
And then Edu, is still any clearer picture as to when he might be back?
No, unfortunately not at the moment.
And Jonas Horn?
Yeah, also out, quad strain, unfortunately.
Any idea how long, or is it?
No, no, I don't know yet. It doesn't look too bad either, but you know, he will be out for some time as well, unfortunately.
But Cedric is back?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, been training the whole week, so yeah.
With Edu out again, how did you feel about Alfredo's performance last week in that spot?
Yeah, I thought he did well. You know, something to build on. We were looking to get him a little bit further up the pitch, you know, behind the opponent's strikers, to get even more quality out of him. But I thought overall did well. He's had a good training week as well, so yeah, definitely a performance to build on. Yeah, it's okay. You can. Yeah. All right.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Thank you all.